Hey everybody, what's up? Shane Wilson here, half of the Plotaholics podcast. A few weeks ago, Bryan and I broke down the new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. And as a part of that conversation, we had a conversation about where the MCU goes from here. And I thought that we would share a little bit of that with you today.
There's no way this is going to be the final chapter. Spider-Man is way too big of a character. He makes too much money for both studios, and it's to the point now where Sony and Disney are essentially becoming one because it's in their best interest. This is not the last one. Is it Tom Holland's? Probably not, because from what I've heard of some other films that he's done, Spider-Man is the best thing going for this kid's career.
For right now, that is absolutely true. And he is still young enough to keep this going for a little longer.
Exactly. Granted, he has said things along the lines of how exhausting it is. And it's like, look, man, I get it. But you're also filming like two blockbusters back to back. You've been doing this, and then you went right from this to Uncharted. Yeah. So, of course, you're going to be tired. You're going to want to take a break, man. I get it. Get someone to be a live-action Miles Morales.
That's the next move for this character, for sure. Because the MCU is now so consistent, they don't have to reboot these stories anymore. They can just keep going forward. So the next time you see a new Spider-Man, it'll just be Miles Morales.
I think so, but I really...
Or it'll be a Peter Parker from another universe or whatever.
How do you feel about him taking over as sort of like the surrogate dad of over Tony? How do you feel about
I don't hate it. I honestly think that until Infinity War and Endgame, Doctor Strange kind of got a bad deal because people tended to dislike it. Now it seems like the next iteration of the MCU is moving more into the magical realm a little bit, and he's going to be more at home there. Mm-hmm. But at first he felt like he didn't fit, and I think a lot of people wanted to cast him aside, and so I'm glad he's getting his respect now, because I love Cumberbatch and I love that character, and I think that if you're moving into a multiverse arena, that he's the logical next step. And for a long time we thought that the torch would be passed to T'Challa, right? That he would be the next sort of leader of this next phase.
He would have been if Chadwick doesn't die. I think they would have shared the leadership role. I think it would have been a trinity of how before it was Thor, Iron Man, and Cap. I think it would have been a trinity of Sam, Cap, T'Challa, and Doctor Strange. I think now it's probably going to be Sam, Cap, Doctor Strange, and
I do think it's Captain Marvel.
Yeah. I'm not mad about that.
And the only reason I say that is because now you've got representatives. Well, you've got representatives now of all three arenas. You have the grounded earthly realm, the magic realm, and the intergalactic realm.
Carol Danvers, I don't care what anyone says. I love Carol Danvers as a character. I think she's an amazing character. I think Brie Larson, the one thing that I think that if you sit there and you try to say that the casting of the MCU isn't good, you've got an agenda. Yeah, that's the one thing that they have been consistently good about post-Hulk, right? Post-Incredible Hulk. Yeah, after Incredible Hulk, they've gotten it. Phase 1, I think for the MCU, if you could get through Phase 1 and the hiccups in that, you should be pumped for now.
This is one really interesting thing, right? Is that when they were putting together Phase 1, nobody really wanted to do superhero movies that were considered serious actors and actresses. Mm-hmm. But now everybody wants in. So now in Eternals, you got Angelina Jolie, right? Like 10 years ago,
Salma Hayek never would have been in a movie like this. She did the only film that was close to a superhero film really that I saw her doing was the Desperado. Now you've got Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek, who in my mind are two of the heavy hitters to come into the MCU to date. I mean, it's Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek. You want to talk about Hollywood pedigree?
I just watched Shang-Chi.
What did you
think? And it's so good. I loved it, man.
I need to rewatch it. I have to, because
I do understand your like central criticism of it being like Black Panther 2.0.
Yeah, but at the same token, I did enjoy the glimpse into, I don't want to be culturally insensitive, but I believe it's more that Mandarin culture. It gives us that. So I love that. I love the fight sequences.
They were gorgeous, really.
Yeah, they really were. When I say this was like Black Panther 2.0, that was just my initial take. I have not watched the movie since I went to the theaters to see it. I'm going to watch it again. It was a great story, great fight sequences. I especially like the fact that the Shang-Chi and the female character, her name eludes me, but it's more like they're friends and they're just now starting to maybe consider possibly dating, because everyone's telling them they should be dating. Shang-Chi was very, very fun. And I hope that with Shang-Chi, we can get Iron Fist back. Yeah. This movie here, I think, is how we're going to get our mutants.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to start getting the X-Men, and Ant-Man and the Wasp are going to be what get us the Fantastic Four. Yeah. I think at this point now, this is where all of Marvel Comics is now going to be in the MCU.
Yeah, it's all in play.
I don't want to spoil. I mean, by now, folks have probably either seen the Eternals or read the news reports on the Eternals. Yeah. One of the end credit scene of the Eternals also sets up another aspect of the MCU, and I think this is also going to help cement that as well.
What is so brilliant about the way that the MCU has executed itself here is that at the beginning, you had Iron Man releasing in a time where superhero movies were not respected. We've already said that, in the same way that they are now. So, but the superhero movies that were respected were these gritty reboots, you know, Batman Begins, those sorts of things. And so they expertly, in a way, grounded the MCU with the realism of Iron Man. And then you talk about Captain America, the first Avenger, that's grounded, you know?
Very, very grounded.
And so everything other than Thor, the first phase of the MCU is very much grounded. And now that they've brought us on this journey and they've slowly introduced, you know, aliens and other magicians and things like that, now we are all primed. They've done such a good, deliberate, slow, patient job of building this universe that now we're ready for all of it.
Yeah, and the one thing that I'm expecting is that I think Shang-Chi is going to be the final film in the MCU that follows the old formula.
Yeah.
Because the Eternals, a much different MCU film. Way different. And I think that's part of the issue that I kind of had with Shang-Chi, is that it felt like that carbon copy.
Yeah.
Now things are starting to get different. Now we're established. We don't have to follow that cookie cutter formula anymore. So I'm very, very excited for this. I think that the whole multiverse theory, it really started with WandaVision, and it's just been a nice slow burn. Marvel is nothing but patient.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure that you subscribe, hit the notifications, make sure you leave us a like, leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Later.